Welcome! Last week of EDUC 407. Can you believe we're already here? Uh, Thank you guys for hanging in with me. I was dead this last weekend between dealing with my wife who hurt her leg, and then all of a sudden I got sick and I was literally the walking dead. So I'm finally back up on my feet. Thank you for being patient with me. Let's go over what we have to do for this final week and any last minute announcements. So let's get into it. So our final week, everything has to be turned in by Sunday, October 15th. No exceptions. Because at that point, Blackboard's going to close. So once Blackboard closes, I can't do anything about it. So please make sure if you got any assignments to get it in before that date. I know I'll be able to access it, but you guys won't be able to access anything. So just make sure you get those in before Sunday at midnight. There is a class meeting. I'll be at Laverne on the Bakersfield campus at 5 p.m. on Thursday. If you choose to stay home and Zoom in, that's perfectly fine for me. I'll just be there just to finish off any last minute things, make sure we got everything taken care of. But we do have 4 assignments this week. One of which is something you've been working on, and another which is just a course evaluation, which should be very, very quick. So for the first one, it's the Choice Board, EdTech Tools for Assessment. So we've been talking about using a lot of it for productivity, for creating stuff, doing lessons and all that. But then we also have assessment that we have to consider, and there's a lot of EdTech tools there for that. Then we got our Google Slides project. So that's everything that you've been working on, that Google Slides template. You're going to be turning that in. So that's going to be that. Final reflection, which I saw that I guess I didn't put it on Slack yet, which I just did just a few minutes ago. So you should be all set there. And then, of course, our course evaluation. So we'll go through each of these assignments, and then I'll show you on Blackboard, and we'll be all set. Remember, if you have any questions or you have any issues, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I try to respond as quickly as I can. Now that I'm feeling better, it should be very quick. In fact, I should have all of your grades updated by Thursday so that you should be all set going into the final couple days of class. So let's go into it. So the first one is the Choice Board, EdTech Tools for Assessment. Basically, you're making a copy of a Google Doc, and you're picking 3 assessment tools to investigate. Now, you'll see that there's a total of 9. And when I open up the file and when we look at it, all you have to do is pick 3. Don't do all 9. Please don't do all 9. That's a lot to ask for. But pick 3. But think of it like tic-tac-toe. Go in order, either top to bottom, left to right, diagonal. Pick 3. Now, if you pick one and you're not able to find anything on it, but you've heard of something different, feel free to erase it and put a new, different EdTech tool. Things get changed all the time. These are some that I have found before and that have been recommended to me. But if you find some that you feel are better and you've worked with, put those on there and use those as your things. But again, make sure you type it up on the Google Doc. And as long as I see that is in a row, you're all set. And then make sure you turn it in on Blackboard and you share it with me on there. Remember, make sure the sharing settings are all set so that way we don't run into any issues the last couple days. Okay. Last part of the final book club project, the project-based learning, finish the last slide on the template. Post one more time on Slack as you finish your template. And then think about when you're posting that the last time on Slack, how has this helped you in planning a project-based learning task for future students? So whether it's for a grade level or just in general, how you're making projects for your students, think about that. Once you've completed that, make sure you turn in the template in. Again, make sure it's shareable to me. Okay? If I can't see it, I'm going to be contacting you as quickly as possible, especially starting on Friday, Saturday, and including Sunday. I need to make sure to get grades in, so I will be on even on Sunday trying to get on and making sure I get all the grades. So please get it in as soon as possible. Don't wait till the last second and then I don't hear from you. Then I got to turn in grades and I don't want your grade to suffer. Okay. Then our last part, major any type of assignment, is your final reflection on Slack. So as part of your reflection, you're going to post these 3 things. What are 3 tools that you've learned this term that you really enjoy? And then what are 2 lesson ideas that you're going to take to a future classroom that you might want to use? And then what is one piece of educational technology that you'll try to learn more about in the future? What I'd like you to do is post your final reflection before we meet, or at least on Thursday, even after we meet, post that reflection so people will have a chance to respond to 2 other people by Sunday. Okay, again, Sunday is important. You got to make sure you have it in by Sunday. Otherwise, I won't be able to grade it because you won't be able to turn it in after that point. Okay. Our last thing that you have to do is the course evaluation, which will be on Blackboard, and I'll show you that in just a second. Basically, click the link, you fill out a questionnaire based upon how well you think I've done, and be honest. And if I didn't do a good job, please, 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 don't hesitate to say that. I'm not worried about it, but I just want to make sure that you guys are being honest. If I can be better, I want to be better. I know I haven't been the best at grading things on time because of different things that have happened, but just as much as I've had that issue, I've tried to be as flexible with people with due dates. So it all works out in the end. You're going to get your points no matter what. I'm going to be working on grading that stuff before Thursday, so that way we have everything updated, and hopefully everybody's going to be happy about their grades. But please fill out that course evaluation. If not, I'll remind you on Thursday to hopefully do it during our class time. It should take you no more than 10 minutes. So let's look at what's happening inside Blackboard. Okay, so these are the things that we've got this week inside Blackboard. The first one is the choice board, EdTech Tools for Assessment. So make sure you click on that link. It should make a copy for you, so it's going to be your copy. So that means once you finish working on it, you need to share it with me. But you're basically doing a tic-tac learn. So let me open this up right here. So here's some what we call educational assessment tools. And these are tech tools. Some of you may have worked with some of these. I know that for a few people that I work with, we use Kahoot, GymKit, quizzes. Those are some of the ones that are really popular. But there's some other ones that are more English-based or for different types of project-based learning. So what I want you to do is pick 3 of them. And they should be in order. So top to bottom, left to right, diagonal. And if you find some, if you know some that are different, feel free to change the name on it and put whatever you find. Again, this is about you. So thinking about how you could assess students, see what they're learning right away, ideally in real time, that'll help you become a better educator, because then you can address those issues before, as a lot of people like to put it, when you take a test, it's like an autopsy. If you failed it, a lot of times you can't go back and fix it. So we don't want that to happen. We want to correct it, be proactive, like in medicine, rather than reactive. But get a chance to work on 3 of those only. You don't have to do all 9. Please don't do all 9. Okay. Going back to Blackboard, that's our first assignment. Make sure you share that document with me on Blackboard. Again, as soon as I start seeing them come in, I am going to check to make sure I can see it so I can grade it right away. So I am not waiting till Sunday for people to turn it in to look at grading. As soon as I see it, I'm going to start working on it. So that way, in case there's any issues, if you turn it in like today or tomorrow or even before class on Thursday, I'm going to look at it because I want to help you guys out. Number 30 here is the final book club and project-based learning design. This is where you're going to read chapters 9 through 10, which hopefully you've already started doing. Hopefully they won't take too long. But you're going to complete slide number 7 on your template. Once you've completed slide 7 on your template, basically you're done with your template inside for this project. Again, I am not expecting a perfect project. In fact, I expect there to be issues with it where things are incomplete. As long as you're attempting to give me your best effort, that's what I'm going to be looking for. Then what I want you to do is complete one final reflection on Slack for this project. Basically going back through and writing something about it. Think about how this has made you think about setting up project-based learning for students in the future. What have you learned from this? How has this affected you? Does this make you think about using projects more? Does it make you give you pause? Do you need help with that? Those are definitely things, good, healthy reflections to have. And again, you're learning how to do this. There's no like, hey, you're going to get this the first time. And maybe you do. I know I didn't. So I am not expecting perfection. So please don't think that, oh, it doesn't look great. I'm not looking for how well it looks. I'm looking to see that you're making progress learning about it more than anything else. Again, this is a work in progress, because when you get to your classroom, for all of you guys that are planning on being in a classroom, when you get there, that's when it truly begins, because then you change and you adapt. What you think you might start, you might change. So don't, keep in mind, don't worry about it if it's not perfect. I am not looking for that. The last major assignment that we have for this course, number 31, the final reflection. So make sure you go on the Slack channel, hashtag final reflection. By Thursday by midnight would be the greatest, because then it gives people a chance to respond. Post, what are 3 tools that you've learned about this term, especially stuff that you didn't know before? What are 2 lesson ideas that you plan on taking to your future classroom that you want to incorporate? And then what is 1 piece of educational technology you plan to learn more about in the future? Something that intrigued you, something that you might be like, ooh, I want to use that. It might be something you already know and you just want to get more in depth with it. There's nothing wrong with that. Make sure you post that on Slack. Once you've posted, make sure you respond to 2 other people with their ideas, constructive responses. And as long as you've done that, then you are done with all the assignments for this class, assuming you've got everything else done. The only last task I will have you to do, and this is not a graded task, is the course evaluation that you see at the bottom. There's a link here. Click on that link, give a course evaluation, how you felt about the course, good or bad. Again, I know that sometimes things don't go perfectly and we don't have the best experiences, and sometimes we do have the best experiences. But I'm truly interested in learning about how you feel about it. Now, keep in mind, I will not look at those until after I've submitted grades, because I don't want those to influence anything that I say. And I think most of the time they're anonymous, but I don't want that. There's only 8 people in the class, so it's not like, there's a lot to choose from. So I don't want that. I will not look at those until after I've submitted grades. So don't feel like you have to worry about how that's going to look, because I refuse to look at them until after I've done that. But please do that. I do like all the constructive criticism I can get. I do try to become the best teacher I can be for you guys. But I've had a great time in this term. I've loved seeing a lot of your projects and stuff that you've done and your responses. You guys have worked well together. I've seen you guys on Slack and the conversations you guys are having and working with each other. Again, I've had a blast with this, and I hope you've had a blast. Hopefully it has not been an incredibly tough course for you. And hopefully you learned something from this that you're going to take with you in the future. I look forward to seeing everybody, hopefully on Zoom on Thursday. And, it'll be the last time we see each other for this class. Who knows if I get a chance to teach you in another class, but I've had an enjoyable time as your instructor. And I look forward to Thursday and our last time together. If you have any questions, feel free to ask at any time. I'll be available as much as I can. If I don't respond right away, don't worry. I do see it. I just sometimes can't get to, the email or Slack right away, but I will try to respond.